Hey, folks, and welcome to another edition of Dawg Walk Talk, presented to you by DawgsHQ. As always, I'm your host, Jake Roos. And with me today, not as always, a special guest at DawgsHQ, the man, the myth, the legend. They're not a lot like him, and that's Isaac Nauta, former Georgia tight end, NFL player, all-around businessman, a guy who's just got a hand in a little bit of all of it. But we wanted to make sure we got Isaac on because, hey, not a lot of guys out there got that natty experience with playing with the Dogs. Isaac certainly does. Isaac, thank you so much for joining us on Dawg Walk Talk today, man.
Oh, man, I'm happy to be here. Happy to talk a little Georgia football as well.
Yeah. Now, going back a little ways, Isaac and I have known each other for some years now. I think I first started covering you when you were in like 10th grade, if I'm not mistaken. So
Yeah.
a wee pup, and it's been crazy to see the whole progression of your career, but been a lot of fun to keep up with you over these years, man. You've always been really gracious with your time. And like I said, man, I really do appreciate that.
Well, dude, I mean, us as players too, we always appreciate, you guys in the media that do your job well at a high level and, paint guys like me in a good light. So we always appreciate that as well. Just purely, you guys got clout, when it comes to what's put in the media and what your readers and things, how they view us as people and players. So, we always appreciate that as well.
Thanks for saying I have clout. You're the first, so I appreciate that, Isaac. Isaac, let's dive right in, man. Georgia back in a national championship. I guess first off, obviously you're a Georgia Bulldog yourself. I guess, are you surprised that they made it back so quickly? Given Kirby's system, given that you've been around, some of the guys on the staff. I mean, this is, not a lot of teams get back, I guess, this quickly. You see, maybe your Alabama's, of course, Clemson's done it. Ohio State will be in the mix once in a while. But, for Georgia, this is 2 appearances in 4 or 5 years. So, I guess any surprise for you to see them back this quickly, given what they've built there?
To be honest, not really. Like when you talk, sustaining success in football, it's a pretty simple formula. And, it starts with the players, setting a standard for, how you want things to look, how you want to play. When teams watch you on film, like, what do you want to present? Do you want to put something out there that's, when teams watch it, they go, oh my God, like, we're about to have a problem. Or do you want to go out there and have mental errors and penalties and, not understand the game situationally? And, that's all stuff as I progressed in my career, and made it to the highest level, the NFL, that I've realized how important all that is. And that's where, the coaching staff comes in, just getting guys prepared and, making sure that they understand that, hey, a 2-minute drill, you got to get out of bounds, or, if you get a first down, the clock stops. And then, it's all situations, and whatever team handles those the best is usually who comes out on top. And I think that's just where Georgia, Coach Smart and his staff and all the, the position coaches and coordinators have done a great job of, really teaching that aspect of the game. And that's given, Georgia, I think, a big advantage in some big time games. And then recruiting, they've done a great job recruiting. I was blessed to be a part of Coach Smart's first class. And, we had some great seniors when I was there, Sony and Nick, Lorenzo Carter, all these guys that, once we finally did it and we knew what it took, we really set the standard for, how Georgia wants to play football. And Coach Smart and staff has continued to, not only raise that level, but, demand that level. And, that's what's going to keep Georgia on top. And that's why it's not surprising, because when you buy into what they're coaching and everybody's on the same page and guys are playing hard, and you mix that with the top talent in the country, I expect Georgia to be, one of those top 5 teams every year.
Sure. I think, like you said, I think that's the demand now. You've kind of whet people's appetite for that, and certainly, Georgia fans, the expectations aren't going to get lower from here. I can assure you, and they didn't get lower after your national championship experience. Isaac, I wanted to talk to you about that experience. Obviously that was a pretty unique year, like you said. Kind of a blending of two staffs' philosophies and players, and just kind of bringing it all together. But just that experience overall, the ability to play on that stage, the biggest game in college football. What was that like for you, just as a player, as a person, and especially as a guy from Georgia, doing it for Georgia, in Georgia at the time?
Yeah, I mean, it was amazing. Just the whole process. From my freshman year I think we only won 8 games. We went 8-5, I believe. Including the bowl game, we got the win to finish the year. To go from that to playing in a national championship, just the turnaround that we had, it was quite an amazing ride. Playing in the Rose Bowl, that emotional roller coaster of a game, and then turning right back around, meeting with the media at the end of the game, quick shower, hopping on a bus, going to the airport, flying back to Atlanta on a red eye. Just the whole experience in itself was, insane. But I mean, it was an amazing experience. When you play in those games, that everybody's watching, everybody's got their eye on you. I mean, at the time we had the president at the game, there was Secret Service all around. It's a big deal. Everybody's watching it, and it's the best of the best competing on a national stage. And as a recruit, especially if you have offers to go wherever you want to go, like you pick a school based off of not only what's best for you as a person to grow and mature as a man, but also to go compete for national championships. And they're hard to get, at whatever level. If you're in high school, it's hard to get to a state championship. If you're in college, it's even harder to get to a national championship. If you're in the NFL, it's insanely hard to get to a Super Bowl.
Sure.
Like, for example, I played with Mercedes Lewis in Green Bay, and my uncle played for the Jaguars. So I grew up watching Mercedes Lewis, and next thing I know, I'm playing with him. I think he's in his 17th year.
Yeah.
And he's never played in a Super Bowl. You know what I mean? And then you got guys like Tom Brady, who's won 7 of them. You know what I mean? So it's just like getting there is so tough, and then to actually be playing in it, and you look around and you're like, wow, it's weird to even have it sink in that you're playing in a national championship. Especially with me growing up watching the Vince Youngs and of that world scoring touchdowns for Texas. You know what I mean? It's crazy playing in it.
Yeah. I mean, hard to conceive of. And I'm glad you mentioned actually that the president was there. It's a funny story for me. I got trapped in the bathroom on the field level by Secret Service, actually, because he was standing about 8 feet from the door. So they made me stand in the bathroom while the president moved on in front of me. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure it was a unique experience. Like you said, that was a really unique season. I mean, we had the Rose Bowl win. You go into that national championship game. You mentioned, the difficulty not only of getting there, but I guess getting over the hump too. And you guys were so close. I guess just take us back to that game, man. Talk us through it, from your eyes, your perspective, going against a Nick Saban coach team, as this Georgia team will have to do as well. I mean, just that whole experience for you through a player's eyes.
Yeah. I mean, that game, that was another game that I wish I could have back. I think all of us do, because, I felt like we were better that year, and, we really were winning the whole game. And, you look back at the year prior, or excuse me, you look at that year, you have Tua come in, and I remember Coach Smart at halftime going, hey, they're going to put this other cat in. They need a spark, and, get ready. And sure enough, they start storming back, and it was just crazy to see, because we wanted it so bad, and we were prepared, and we were playing hard, and we were ready. Nobody was scared, and we wanted it. And just that whole game, we felt like we were in control of the whole game right up until the very end. When you get that 2nd and 26 situation, and they throw a bomb and score a touchdown, and it's just like you can't even believe it. You know what I mean? The confetti starts falling, and it's not for you.
Yeah.
And you feel like you had the upper hand in the whole game. It was a gut-wrenching feeling for sure.
Sure.
Also something that I'll never forget. You know what I mean? Regardless of win or loss, like that's something that you'll never forget. But yeah, I mean, just that whole experience in general was awesome. You know what I mean? Like the whole week leading up to it, playing in the game. And that year was different for me too, because, I only had 9 catches that year. And, kind of our offensive identity was running the ball, and having Nick and Sony lead us. And, that was just our identity, and it wasn't, throwing the ball a ton, especially, to me that year for making plays. And so I was really focused on, being a good blocker and trying to get, that run game going against a strong Alabama defense, which they have every year, you know what I mean? And they got big D line, fast linebackers, good DBs on the back end. And, it was just, we had everything rolling. And it just happened so fast. And that's the thing with, not only Coach Saban teams at Alabama, is like they're going to fight till the very end. You have to play 100% for 4 quarters, or they'll sneak back up on you. And they've proven that this year with other games as well. So, I think that's going to be the main key in this game, is just making sure that get off to a fast start and keep the foot on the gas for all 4 quarters. And you got to finish, because, they're too well coached and they got too many good players to, not play for all 4 quarters. So that'd be my advice to the guys this year.
You sound like you've taken a page out of Kirby Smart's book, man. You got that's some serious coach speak. I like that.
The thing is, as you get older in the game, you start to realize that a lot of what they say is pretty spot on. As simple and as cliche and as scripted as it sounds, it's as simple as that. Stop the run, make explosive plays. Try to score before the half. If you get the ball at half, you got to score those halftime swings, and don't turn the ball over, and you're usually going to be in a good chance to win the game. And, it's just situational football is what it boils down to. And if they can do that better, I think they have a really good chance to win this game.
Yeah, you mentioned, those big swings and those big momentum shifts. And, certainly we saw that, I think, in this SEC championship. Georgia played against Alabama. It seemed like, Alabama was hitting a lot of those big momentum plays, and Georgia just, kind of fighting to keep up and keep pace with them. But what's interesting about that, and this is another kind of unique perspective, I guess, that you can give us, is, Georgia's going to have to rematch with Alabama, just over a month after having played them. And that was the case for you guys in the SEC championship that year. You guys had played Auburn and then ended up getting them as the draw in the SEC championship that year. I guess what's it like to play a team that close together? How does that affect game planning? How does that affect what you do? How does that affect your approach? How difficult is it, or does it make it somewhat easier?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that year we had something similar with Auburn as well. Like, we got beat by Auburn, and that, really for us was probably the best thing that happened to us, because it was kind of that checkup from the neck up, like, hey, like, we've been winning games, but we need to tighten things up because this can happen to us. And then even coming off that loss, we had all the confidence in the world going in the SEC championship that, like, we were going to beat Auburn, because if we just fix this, this, and this, which was most of it was self-inflicted wounds, that we're going to beat them. It's kind of the same thing, with Alabama, just, losing to them that first time, like it really kind of gave more confidence to us, because, it was a lot more self-inflicted stuff again. Like, hey, we know what we got to do. Now let's just go execute it. So, I think that in this year specifically, taking that loss, I mean, I knew it was going to be bad news for Michigan, because you're now facing a Georgia team that's coming off a loss that was very frustrating on a lot of levels for a lot of people. And I know, because, I've been through games like that when you feel ready to go, you feel like you're prepared, and then, you have an off performance. So I think, having that little check, towards the end of the year should give them a lot more confidence going into this national championship. They know what they're up against. They're going to be able to fix the mistakes, but, it goes for Alabama as well. They're going to fix their mistakes too. And it's just going to be a big chess match of, physical SEC football. And I think it's going to be a great game. I'm excited for it.
How much of the Dogs have you had a chance to watch this season, Isaac?
Man, I pretty much watch them every Saturday. I got to go to a couple games. I went to the South Carolina game. Went to the SEC Championship game. So I've been able to get back and see him in person a little bit too. My family doesn't live too far from Athens, so I get to, stop through every now and again. A lot's changed even in the city since I was there. And it's still nostalgic going back there. I mean, it's a city and a school that, shaped a good portion of my life. And, so Georgia football will always be a part of me for sure. So I usually tune in if I can check it out.
I guess, is there anything that stood out to you about this year's team and what they've done? I mean, you mentioned the identity of the team that you were on when you guys won the national championship and being kind of run first. I mean, it seems like Georgia's passing the ball a lot more these days. That's kind of the modern era of football. It's taken that turn where we're seeing that a lot more, kind of spreading that out. Defense, obviously, this year, I think one of the strongest Georgia's ever fielded, certainly from a statistical standpoint. What are the things that have caught your eye?
Yeah, I mean, the talent across the board is ridiculous. I mean, there's not a single, position on that field where you feel like, it's a mismatch. The tight end group in itself is very strong. I mean, Brock's having an incredible year. He's a super talented to be a freshman, and he's only going to get better. And that just comes with experience and play time and learning the game as you go along and, just beginning to slow everything down. And the jump from year 1 to year 2 is huge. Jump from year 2 to year 3 is even bigger. So I'm excited to see what happens with him. John's playing well too, blocking. That's one of my former teammates as well. He's made some plays in the passing game. I think, that position group has been huge for the offense. Stetson, another underrated guy that doesn't get enough credit. He was another one of my former teammates as well. And I've watched his whole career path, coming from a walk-on to running our scout team to ripping our defense and then watching him transfer away to come back on scholarship. What an amazing story. And I mean, just across the board, the receivers, super talented. You got even more guys coming back, getting healthy, for this week. And then our defense, like you look at that play that Trayvon Walker made, just hitting that pulling center, like that's the identity that the defense has. Like, they're physical and they're big and they're fast. And, I just think that when you have teams that play like this and set this kind of tone for the way they want Georgia football to be, it's definitely contagious and addicting for younger players. And, I think that's why you see younger guys, playing and stepping up. And I think that's why Georgia football is only elevated since I've left, for sure. So I think the main thing that sticks out to me is just the talent across the board. There's just guys everywhere that can make plays.
Well, I'm glad that you mentioned Stetson because, I'd kind of honestly forgotten that you guys had that connection. And, I guess, are you surprised to see him in this situation? I mean, like you said, it's a great story, right? But, there's a lot of consternation. It depends on who you ask and on what day as to how some people feel about Stetson Bennett being the guy under center. But, I think it's a kind of a testament to the guy that he's fought his way into this position and just won't seem to let go. I mean, is that the guy that you got to know?
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, like, in this business, and that's what it is, college sports is a business. And, at the end of the day, the end goal, whether it's professional leagues or college or high school, is to win championships. And the guys that are going to be out there are the guys that they know that can get it done to win games. And, there's a reason that he's been out there. And yeah, I mean, does everybody have a perfect game throughout the whole year? I mean, not always, you know what I mean? It's football. It's any given Sunday or Saturday, you know what I mean? So, but I think over the course of the year, he's been very consistent and he's put, Georgia in position to win football games. And, in the toughest conference in football, which is the SEC. And, and he stepped up in some big time games as well. So, I'm excited to watch him play. I know he's got a chip on his shoulder and he's not the biggest guy. He's not the strongest guy, and so he's got that mentality, former walk-on. So I know he's excited. I know the kind of competitor he is. I know the way that he attacks practice and just even when he was running our scout team, he went out there every day like it was his job and he made us better. He's that kind of ultimate teammate. So, he's a guy that everybody trusts and will play for. And ultimately, that's all you want at the end of the day is guys that can make plays, which we know he can, and guys that trust your quarterback. So, like I said, I'm excited to see him play. I'm super happy for him, to be in this moment. Like I said, it's a crazy story.
Now, the old football adage is that it's tough to beat a team twice. So it sounds like from your reaction that you might buy into that a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it is, a lot of what football is, when you're game planning for a team, you have your base offense, you have your base defense, you got your base plays. And then what you do is you look at, how other teams have attacked, those teams, and you find those weaknesses, and then you use those plays, with your verbiage. You might tweak a couple things to attack certain things that you see on film, whatever. So, usually when you play another team, everything that you kind of wish you would have done or wanted to do or didn't do, that's where you're able to lay it all out the second time. And it's, it's usually harder for, the other team to have the answers for it. So, I'm excited. Like I said, I'm excited for this one. It's gonna be tough, beating a team twice, especially when Georgia's kind of had that top spot and they want it back, and I know for me, like I know personally for me, like one of the main reasons I went to Georgia is because I wanted to beat Alabama. Like I wanted to play in a national championship and I wanted to beat Alabama, and I felt like the best place for me is going to be Georgia to do that. And I know these guys, a lot of these guys I still played with when I was there, and I know they want it just as bad, and like they will do anything to get this one. So, it's definitely hard to beat a team twice in the same year. There's no doubt about that. And we see it in the NFL all the time. What I mean? That you never know in those divisions.
Well, with that being the case, I mean, you got a prediction on this one? You think the Dogs are going to pull this out? Are they going to get it done?
I do. I think Georgia's going to win. I think this is the year. It's going to be an absolute party when it does, because Georgia fans, I know they've wanted this for so long. It's one of the most loyal fan bases, and to this day, I still have people come up to me and be like, "Hey, man, like, just that trip to Notre Dame when we went to the Cubs game and then the Falcons game, like, it was one of the best experiences of my life. The Rose Bowl, like." They love it, and it's been such a long time since something like this has happened. And I think we're due. I think the guys are prepared. I think the mentality's right. I think the talent's there. And I just think timing's perfect to put it all together and get one for the Dogs, get one for the home team.
I have to think Clayton Street will be pretty lit if it were to happen.
Oh my gosh. People will go crazy.
Yeah, no doubt. Now, Isaac, you mentioned earlier that football is a business and college football is a big business. And, I know that that's part of what you're up to these days, in between keeping yourself ready for the league, just being an all-around business guy. Tell us what you're up to, man. I know that it's kind of, involved with college sports again.
Yeah. So I got hurt this year in the preseason. I really, hadn't even really told people about it. I know there's a lot of people still wondering where I'm at, what I got going on. I'm still playing. I got more left in the tank, but I tore my pec this year. Got put on IR earlier in the year, and so I've had a lot of time to stay in shape, get healthy, work out, continue to do that, but also look at some opportunities off the field. And one of the things that I'm building with two other partners is called Athlo Agency. And what it is it's a personal branding agency for college athletes around the NIL. And it's a e-learning product, kind of like, if you think almost like a master class where, there's video of me and one of my partners going through, teaching you how to do the course, kind of what, how you want to get, things out of the course and kind of how you go about taking the course. And what it is we're helping athletes align, through their passions, through their purposes, through truly what fulfills them, to help brand them and promote them in the most positive, best way possible, and help them impact as many people positively as they can through their time in college. Like, there's too many times when athletes reach that moment to where it's like, okay, I'm not going to go pro. And I've spent my whole college career grinding on classes, trying to balance my social life, trying to do this sport thing. And then they realize like, that's not going to be for me. And, sometimes they feel like it's too late and don't know, what they want to do with the rest of their life. So what we want to do is just help them build their personal brand, teach them how to sell themselves, whether it's to get, better NIL deals, brand partnerships, or just, help them figure out like, hey, this is what I'm good at as an athlete. And this is also what's going to make me money off the field. Just help them build that authentic likability, help them sell themselves to companies. Like if they want to get an internship with a certain company, whatever's important to their personal brand aligns with a certain company's company brand or mission statement, and try to help line them up. So it's truly a product for athletes that just helps them align in their purpose, align in their passions, and help them build their brand around that. So it's just something that's not talked about enough in this space. And the NIL, which is name, image, and likeness, is brand new to the college landscape. And there's a lot of kids coming into this that don't even know they're going to have to pay taxes on this money, and all this stuff. So it's a whole new world. There needs to be more education on it for these guys and girls. And so it's just something that, for me, is a way to give back and help, college athletes build their brand and take advantage of the opportunity that they have while they're in college, so they don't look back on it and go, man, I wasted those 4 years, or I wasted that 1 year that I had if I'm a college basketball player, or 6 years if I got redshirted and gray shirted and I'm a 6-year senior, in football. Like, I just want guys to take advantage of the opportunity that they have, because the second they walk onto a college campus, they're officially a business now. And, they can make, lots of that opportunity, or they can waste it. So I want to help as many, college athletes as I can take advantage of that opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And, I got to ask you too, since you're in that space, I think a lot has been made of Georgia's proximity to Atlanta and some of the doors that might open, for NIL. Do you see that as advantageous for the Bulldogs like you said, in this space and in this time where this is kind of brand new, but, you've got a major city just an hour down the street from Athens?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is, such a big deal because it's really big business. I mean, you look at even where I went to high school, Buford High School. I mean, they're building a $55 million stadium.
Yeah.
So it's not only big business for high school, and these kids are celebrities now going into college, and you're 18 to 17, 18, 19 years old, and like you're still a kid, you know what I mean? And you're seeing kids sign $1 million deals, as 18-year-olds, and haven't even played a snap of football yet, or basketball or baseball, and it's something that, as it continues to grow and as these deals become more creative and they begin to use these athletes in different ways and more opportunities pop up, like, it's a huge opportunity for these athletes. And we just want to make sure that, we help them, just tap into who they are and their authentic likability, and help them take advantage of these opportunities, especially in a place like Georgia and Atlanta and even Athens, those local businesses that want to work with the athletes. And, you see it all over the place. So it's a cool opportunity, and it's truly a business that serves the athletes, and something I'm excited about. So we're planning on rolling out calling it our virtual playbook early 2022. So we're excited about it.
It sounds awesome, man. And hey, listen, you said those kids are celebrities coming out of high school. I know another guy who was a celebrity coming out of high school. So don't sell yourself short now, Isaac Nauta. We were everybody was tuned in.
Oh man, I'm getting old now, man. My 15 minutes of fame is almost up.
We all are, brother. We all are. I get it, man. Well, Isaac, listen, man, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate you being here on Dawg Walk Talk with us, and we hope that you'll come back and see us again. And maybe next time, who knows? Maybe we'll be talking about Georgia pulling this thing out.
Yeah, absolutely, Jake. Appreciate you as always, man. And go Dogs.
All right, folks, thank you so much for tuning into this edition of Dawg Walk Talk. Special thanks to my special guest, Isaac Nauta. We'll be catching up with you soon from Indianapolis with Palmer and myself, and we look forward to talking to you again This has been another edition of Dawg Walk Talk. Thanks for tuning in.